Good morning. Are you ready for a math lesson? Okay, so today we're going to be talking about this big old thing behind me. It's called a hundreds chart. Ours actually goes all the way to 120, so you can call it a 120s chart. So we're going to learn how to read them, how they can help us count, and all about the numbers that are on there. Before I get started, the little camera up here is a little messed up, but I promise you there's a number 7 under there. You just can't see it. So let's get started. We're going to talk about this 100 chart. So the first thing I want you to notice is that it starts with the number 1. And remember when we were counting last week, I told you when you're counting to put things in rows of 10. That's when you were putting your numbers in order. Like when you did 1 to 20 and then 21 to 40, I was saying put them in order and put them into rows of 10. That's because that's how a hundreds chart is laid out. And when you're putting numbers in order and you put them in rows of 10, it's so much easier to keep it organized. So we start at 1, and this chart goes all the way to 120. Those are the numbers that you need to know in first grade. So 1 to 120 and all the numbers in between. So first let's talk about the rows. Now when I talk about rows, I'm talking about the lines that go horizontally. So you can put your arm out like this, and that will help you remember horizontal. Straight across. Horizontal, those are your rows. So they go this direction. And when we read a hundreds chart, we read it left to right, just like a book. So let's look at this first row. It goes all the way from 1 to 10. And in rows, you count by ones. When you're going from left to right and you're going across, you're counting by ones. So we would count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But what about when I get to the end of the row? Where's my next number going to be? Because there's nothing out here. So that's when you go back to the next row, circle all the way back to the left, and just go one row down. So if we go 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and you continue to count by ones. So you count by ones when you're going through row. That's like in the T-frame that we do in calendar. When I talk about one less and one more, or what number comes right before and what number comes right after, that's because you're working in the rows. You're working straight across horizontally, so you're counting by ones in this direction. Now, this hundreds chart can help you practice because you need to be able to start from any number here and count by ones. So we don't always start at 1. You got to start from anywhere. So you can use the hundreds chart to help you keep track of where you are if you're having trouble counting from any number. So like I can start at 73 and count to 80. And I could be like 73, 70. Oh, I don't remember what comes next. So I find 73 on my hundreds chart and I follow across because I'm counting by ones. 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80. So the rows going across, you're counting by ones. So now we're going to talk about columns. Columns are vertical. They're straight up and down. So you can go up and down this way, up and down. Up and down are vertical. Those are your columns. So let's look at this column right here, the 5 column, and it's going to go all the way down. So we're going to count as we go straight down, and I want you to hear and see if you notice a pattern in the numbers that I'm saying. I'm going to count 5, 15, 25, 35, 45, 55, 65, 75, 85, 95, 105, 115. What did you notice that you heard or that you saw about that column while I was counting? All the numbers in the 5 column have a 5 in the ones place. When you hear me counting, I was going 25, 35, 45, 55. But I'm not counting by ones. I'm counting by tens. Counting by tens. So that's why in our T-frame and calendar, when I'm talking about the number that's above a number or below a number, I'm talking about 10 less and 10 more. Because when you work in columns, you're counting by tens. Now, when we think of counting by tens, we think of start at 10, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, and so on. You can start at any number and count by tens. I could start at 3 and count by tens, and I use my hundreds chart to help me stay on track. If I'm counting by tens, I'm just going to move down the column. 3, 13, 23, 33, 43, 53, and so on. So, hundreds chart. Horizontal, the rows, counting by ones. Vertical, the columns, you count by tens. And you use this hundreds chart to help you count. So remember, you got to be able to start from any number and count by ones. And eventually you'll be able to start from any number and count by tens or count by twos. One day you'll count by sevens. It gets crazy up in here with counting. So use a hundreds chart. You can pull one up on your Chromebook to help you use. If you have a printer, you can print one off. All you got to do is search for hundreds chart, and all these different pictures will pop up, and you can use one of those on your Chromebook. So use the hundreds chart to help you count and help you count by ones and by tens.